Hey there, I'm Carol the Crafty Grandma, and today we are going to be working on, out of this book here, for bench pillows for all seasons. We're going to do the August pillow cover. We've already made the July pillow cover. Probably going to remake that because the videos I had problems with sound and there were a bunch of different things going on, so we're probably going to redo that. But this month we're going to go ahead and do the August. You will need to actually purchase the book from anniescatalog.com because this one has applique. And you're going to need the templates to be able to make the applique. Unless, of course, you are creative and you want to do it all on your own, that's perfectly fine. But so the August pillow is going to, oops, I'm on the wrong page. I'm on the directions instead of the picture. There we go. Is going to look like this. So it's going to have a boat and some fishies and some things. It's really a very simple applique. There's only going to be two huge pieces of fabric that we're going to join together, the blue sky and the blue ocean, and then all of the applique. So let's get started and see how it goes. So I was reading, obviously, just before we got on, and I've gathered up my Steam-A-Seam because we're going to need that for the appliques. I'll set those aside for the time being. It calls for, obviously, the water and the sky. So I kept looking at it. I really, really, really like this for the water. It's got bubbles and it's kind of an aqua, so it's a little blue. But I don't have a light sky blue anywhere. Looked through all of my blues and nothing seemed right for the sky. So I'm going to use this dark blue for the ocean and this blue for the sky. I don't know if I'm going to like it in the end, and if I don't, obviously, I'll just remake it again. But for the time being, this is what I had in my stash. Might check over at my mother's house and see what she's got in her stash and make it a second time. Not certain, but right now, this is what we've got. This is what we're going for. Then we need something for the boat. So I'm going to use this for the boat. Happens to have lines up and down. Makes perfect sense to me to be part of the boat. And then we need something for the part that goes up and down that holds the flags. So just a basic brown. The white I've got here is what I'm going to use for putting on the back of the quilt, not on the backing, but on the back of the quilt to make the envelope. This is what I've been using to do the envelope. I've got some muslin around here, there it is, right here, that I'm going to use for the back of the quilt, because the quilt back is never going to be seen. The pillow is going to be stuffed inside, so the envelope on the back, that's going to be seen, so I'm going to use this, unless I'm feeling feisty and decide to use one of the blues, because I've got more than enough fabric for that. So I'm going to put that over here. And then we need to be able to make, oh no, I know what the white was for. I was wrong. This is for the waves in the ocean. And actually, I'm looking at this. I have this extra. I'm going to use this instead of pulling out new stuff. There we go. This is actually a white muslin. I'm not certain what it was out for. It was out for something, obviously. But yeah, I'll use that for the waves. It's got red, white, and blue on it, so it's obviously something for something patriotic. Little scraps. Anyway, sorry. So then we need the anchor. I found a charm pack that had some gold in it. And so I'm going to fussy cut the anchor somewhere in this area so that it looks like it has flakes of gold on it. And then these I'm going to use for the flags, because there's 3 flags on the boat. So I'm either going to make 2 in one color and 1 in the other color, or I'm going to use all 3. Haven't really decided. I'm going to look at that as we go. And then we needed something for all of the fish. So I had a charm pack of 8-inch squares. I'm going to probably try and use most of the polka dots if I have enough. and not put flowers on fishies. I know that's no big deal, but oh, excuse me. I'm just thinking I'd rather have the polka dots as the fish, and we'll see how that. But so that's what I needed. And then I've got my sewing machine, and I don't have any thread loaded on it yet, and I don't have my foot and everything all set up because I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So, very simple. First thing we need to do is we need to get the blue fabric cut. So both the big piece and the small piece. So from the sky, which is going to be what I think should be the water, I need a 8.5 inch by 38.5 inch rectangle. So 8.5 inches. Let's get this measured out a little bit. So I'm going to cut it at 9, a little past 9. And then tear it. Okay. There we go. All right. Come on, strings. There we go. Get rid of the strings. And now we're going to press our fabric and even it all up. So the reason I tore the fabric, if you haven't seen that done before, is the grain on the fabric is not always straight. So when it gets wrapped up on a bolt, it may not be straight. So if you tear the fabric, you're going to have a piece, the fabric is going to be straight on the grain at the tear. And because, you know, fabric is made up of a bunch of pieces of thread woven together. And in order to ensure that you have the fabric on the grain, you use the tearing method, and that gives you the ability to make sure you're straight and even with the grain. All right, iron. So this fabric is anywhere between 40 and 42 inches long, salvage to salvage. And we only need 38 inches. Hi, kitty cat. I have a kitty cat. Yes, that's a good girl. I swear she hears me talking on this camera and she comes right in. Wants to be part of the show. She doesn't realize that she's on the floor and you can't see her. That's my good girl. All right, come on. So my iron is one of those that when you put it, if you don't use it for a period of time and it's sitting upright, it cools down. So it's got to warm up a little bit before it's usable. Now I'm looking here and I'm thinking I may run into an issue because one side, hi baby girl, hi big girl, hi, you know you're laying on the cord for the iron. One side of this fabric is obviously wider than the other side of the fabric. I don't know when I've ever used this fabric, so I may have just purchased it and put it on my little bolt and not bothered to. A lot of times before I put my fabric away, I will tear it on the end and even it up. This one I obviously did not do that. Let's see, is this anywhere near 8.5 inches wide? Oh, it is. That's where I tore on. Okay, we're good. I tore on that side. Yes, big girl. Yes, big girl. Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. Oh, good kitty cat. Good kitty cat. Alright. Line up my edge. There we go. Now iron. Okay, now we're going to fold it over again so that it'll fit on my little ruler. Get that folded up, even up my edge. All right, here we go. All right, so now we need to cut it to 8.5 inches wide. Okay. Trim up the edge here. So to do that, I'm going to make sure I'm completely straight on the bottom fold. Don't go from the selvage because you can never tell where that came from. But you want to keep it straight on the fold because we folded it up so that it's with the grain. All right, and now we have a nice sharp edge. This ruler is not wide enough to do an 8.5 inch square, which is what I'm looking for, right? Yes, 8.5 inches wide. So I need something else that's going to be 8.5 inches. And let's see here. I have, yes I do. I happen to have an 8.5 inch square ruler. So this I am going to put right on the edge, making sure that I have it all straight on the fold and then absolutely straight on the cut so everything is even, and it is. And of course this isn't tall enough to cut, so I'm going to butt up my ruler I just used, make sure it's level or even with the fold, so I know that. So now I am exactly 8.5 inches wide. This I am going to put over here to use as feeder fabric later on. All right, so now we have it the correct width across. That's lovely. That's not all we need. We also need it to be the correct length. And I don't have anything that is 38.5 inches long. So I'm going to divide 38.5 by 2. And that's going to give me 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 19 1/4 inches. All right. So from the fold, I need 19 1/4 inches this way. Turn this around so I can cut it correctly. Okay. So 19 1/4 inches from the fold. I'm going to put the 8, well, I'm going to need that for the next one, so we'll leave it sitting there. And now I need a long ruler. 19 1/4 inches from the fold. Now, just to make sure I did my math correctly, let's get a calculator out. All right. Hey, Google. You gonna work? It's not. That would have been too easy. Hands-free would be nice, but all right. Calculator. Is there. And I need it to be 38 1/2, so 38.5 divided by 2, 19 1/4. I did my math correctly. My math teachers will be so proud of me. Okay, let's plug this phone back. Oh, actually it's 100%. I don't need to plug it back in. I can leave it here for later. Get a little coffee in me. Let's see here. It's decaf though. It's not coffee. I just legitimately like the flavor of coffee. Okay, so 19 1/4 inches from the fold. Again, we're using this one because it's long. And we're going to butt this one up and make sure that it's even with the top and bottom so that we've got square, we're squared up. And cut these 2 little pieces off. All right, so we have scraps for later. And now we have our sky. There we go. Like I said, I really like that more for the water, but we have no choice. Okay. Obviously, I have more than one piece of this. Let's see what we got going on here. What is going on here? I do have more than one piece on here. It's an odd way of rolling it, but I guess I was in a mood that day. Okay. I only need 8 1/2 inches, and this one actually does have a tear on it, so I folded it. I obviously tore it and stored it that way. So I am not going to worry about ironing and all that good stuff. I am actually going to cut it right off of here because I obviously took the time to fold it once already, so we're good there. 8 1/2 inches wide, which is what this doohickey is. From the fold. There we go. Let's get it all straight. There we go. And that is why I store my fabric torn, or in this case cut, because I will obviously be able to see when I go back to this that it was cut with a rotary cutter, so I don't need to true it up again. But yeah, that's why I like to store my fabric already torn, because then when I go to use it, all I have to do is cut. All right, set this over here. And now we need it to be 38 1/2 inches long. So 19 1/4 inches from the fold. All right, and so that's going to be our ocean. Okay, I'm going to put these rulers away because we're not going to need rulers for applique. What do we think? How is that look? I think that's going to be okay. It's not exactly what I wanted, but come on. Can't find a spot for my rulers. My rulers are being challenging. So do you need a gazillion rulers? No. You do pretty much need two. I would get at least two. Depending on what size blocks you like to make, I would get one that is the size that you prefer to make. As an example, I have 12.5, 8.5, 6.5, and I think I have a 4.5. So that when you're truing up blocks, you can true them up. So I would get something a little bit bigger that's a square, and then my little one that I have that's 14 inches by, I think it's 4. That's my go-to ruler. I use it all the time. Sorry, I'm realizing that I've got the wrong pictures on my tablet. There we go. Try that again. There we go. But so I use that one all the time, so I love that ruler. It's my go-to for just about everything. So now I need to make the appliques. So I'm going to need my Steam-A-Seam 2, brand new bag, pouch, whatever. And this can actually be run through a printer. So if you're artistic and you want to design your own fish, draw them on the computer, and then save them and print them on here, you can do that. If you want to take theirs, I don't think this is the one I'm using. Oh yeah, Smooth Sailing, this is it. So if you want to take their pictures and you have one of the printers that can scan, or you want to take a picture of it, scanning would be a much better idea because that way you get the exact size. If you take a picture of it, it could change the size and that would just not be good. But however you want to do it, if you are so inclined, you can do that and then print onto the paper. I am not going to be doing that method. I am going to be doing the trace method, which is how I've been doing it forever. But I did want you to know, if you are so inclined and you'd like to, you are more than welcome to take these and print them right onto here, and you don't have to do the drawing part. Drawing part. Pencil, pencil sharpener. You need a very sharp tip when you're doing this. Otherwise, you will get really wide lines and your stuff will not be the right size. All right, so the first thing it says is the ship. So I'm going to follow the order here so I make sure I don't get anything wrong. So the ship. Smooth sailing ship. I try and use the least amount of this as I can, because it comes in like packs of 5 or whatever, and I think it's rather expensive, but it is what it is, so you need it, you get it. Alright, and drawing the ship. So I got this, I think, from Amazon. It doesn't really matter. It was shipped to me, needless to say. And they don't always take care at the post office not to fold things. Also, I don't have a mailbox in front of my house. We have a central location in our neighborhood for mail. And our mail person is very inconsiderate when it comes to putting things into the mailbox. He just shoves and shoves and shoves, and it drives me crazy. But needless to say, I've got a couple of bumps in here, so hopefully it'll still stick pretty good. All right, so I did the ship and now the ship mast. Let's see, where's the mast? I'm guessing it's the thing right on the fold, so hold on. It is. All right. Now, based on the fact that this was a rectangle, I probably could cut it all by myself into a rectangle. But then I'd still have to put this stuff on the back to adhere it to the fabric, so it's no big deal. All right, the mast, sail 1, sail 2, sail 1, sail 2. Sail 1 and sail 2 are right next to each other, and no, sail 1 and sail 2, yep. All right, so how can we fit this in here using the least amount of space? There we go. There we go. Okay, and that is sail 2. And we need to sharpen the pencil. Sail 1 is right here. Let's see if we can fit that. Yes, we can. It's going to go right over here. Oops. All right, sail number 1 and flag. There it is. Oh, it's tiny. I wonder if I can get it up here. I can. Excellent. And then the other main one it says here that I only need one of is the anchor. All right, anchor. Let's see, where can I fit that in and use the list? There we go. There we go. A-N-C-H-R, anchor, excellent. All right. Then I need one of the life preservers. Yes, one life preserver. All right, so that is what I need one of. All right, I need 3 waves. Now, I don't have room on here for a wave. I do not. So I'm going to set that off to the side. And we're going to do 3 waves, and it says 1 reversed. So I'm not 100% certain which way I'm going to do that. I'm thinking I will turn this tracing sheet over, but I'm not positive I'll be able to see. So we're going to have to see how that works. There's 1 wave. Let's get a second one. That should fit quite nicely with each other. Okay, well, let's try the reverse one first. Can I see through the paper? I cannot. Not that way. All right. Let's see here. Can I hold it up and see through it? Yes, but my drawing is going to be atrocious, but let's see. So normally, this is what I would do. I would take it over to my window, and I'd hold it up to my window. The problem is you're not going to be able to see me. I'm going to walk over here anyway and move my table a little bit. Let's see if I can get over here. All right. Yeah, you can't really see me. So I hold up the pattern to the window, and now I can see it. And I can trace along the pattern through the back of the design. Okay. Let's come back this way. I can make it, really, I can. All right. Whew, that was fun. So now I have 2 waves, one the opposite of the other. And now I will make the 3rd one, which is the same as the first. My pencil is way too dull for this. I need to sharpen it. I'm going to finish that wave. All right, got the wave done. So I have 3 waves. Then I need 8 fish, 4 of them reversed. So 4 of them, we're going to have to do that same thing with the window. And 8 fish tails. All right, let's label these. Wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3. Okay, let's go back to here and do we need 8 fish tails. Where are the fish tails? I remember seeing them. There they are. All right, let's since they don't have any reversals on them, let's just get 8 of these drawn up. One, tail 1. Tail 2. Tail 3. Tail 4. Tail 5. Tail 6. Tail 7. And let's see here. How's this one going to fit? There we go. Tail 8. All right, 8 fish tails. Ask a fisherman, how many tails does he have? Anyway, all right, now the main fish. There's the fish. Am I got room? I do not have any room on this one. Set that off to the side. I've got some room here. Do I have enough to get the fish in? That's going to be close. All right. Fish 1. Fish 1. Fish 2. All right, let's see here. Fishy, fishy, fishy. Number 3. And fish number 4. And fish 4. Okay. Let's see, what are we looking at? Nothing important. All right, so we've got 4 facing the right way. Now we need to have 4 that are reversed, which means I need to go back to my window. And I am going to bring another blank piece of this with me because I have a feeling I'm not going to fit all 4 fish onto this piece. But we're going to try. Okay. So, reverse my fish. Where are my fish? There's my fish. Reverse my pattern so it's upside down. And now I'm going to fit in 4 more fishies. As best I can. Let's see. Here we go. And here we go. Here's fish 5. Alright, now fitting it onto my paper is always fun. draw, and I draw. Got into the wave a little bit there, but we can fix that when I cut it. There's fish 6. Fish number 7. Yep, I'm going to need that paper for just one fish. I had a feeling it was going to be just a little too small. Wouldn't have just enough. There's fish 7. Right, I'm going to set that over here. You can probably see that. Yep, there's that. And then one stinking fish off of here. All right. Okay, let me come back into camera so you can see me. All right, okay, here we go. Fold up our templates. Whew. Get my waves and label this fish 8. Fish 8. Okay, is there anything else I need? 3 waves. 3 waves. Yep, those are there. A ship. Yep. A mast. Yep. Sail 1, sail 2, and a flag. Sail 1, sail 2, and a flag. Yep, got all of those. An anchor. Yep, got that. And then 8 fish, 4 of them reversed, and 8 fish tails. All right. We have everything now drawn. Pencil, appliques, pencil. There we go. Out of the way. Coffee. Need coffee. All right. Now, if you only have one pair of scissors, you're going to pull out your one pair of scissors, and you are going to take care of getting everything cut. If you are like a lot of sewers of any kind, you have a pair of paper scissors and a pair of fabric scissors. I also, because I'm just ridiculously, ridiculous, I also have a pair of titanium. These I use for cutting fabric and fabric only. In this case, I'm going to be cutting the templates in addition to the steam-a-seam in addition. So I'm not going to use my really good scissors. I keep these just as sharp as I can for fabric only. And before I got those, these were my fabric only scissors. I also have them labeled for family members who happen to walk by and want a pair of scissors, so that they have been trained that they do not take my fabric scissors. But these were my fabric only scissors until I got was able to pick up that nice one. So this is what I'm going to use to cut both my fabric and my steam-a-seam. But first we have to get the pieces cut apart appropriately. So I'm going to cut my fishies out, and you don't want to cut them right on the line because we're going to do that later when we do when we get to the fabric. Let's see, I'm going to set that there. Set you there, and then put all of this away so it is not in the middle of everything I'm doing. Come on. There we go. All right. Put it back where it belongs on its shelf so I don't lose it later on. All right, so let's get back to the fishies. It's cutting out fishies. All right. So each of the fish are going to be a different color. So I do need them to all be cut individually. But the 3 waves are all going to be cut out of white fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those 3 pieces together, and we'll trim around after I get it steamed up. But the fishies are all going to be from a different fabric. Alright, so do I have to be absolutely perfect when I'm drawing the lines for the fish? No, it'll just give them a little character. It's not going to hurt anything if they're not all absolutely identical. I've mentioned multiple times, unless you are planning on submitting this quilt for a quilting competition, which at that point you've done it to yourself, there are no quilting police. I read something the other day on one of the social media sites that said, someone was asking, how does this look? They had taken a picture of it. And they said, how does this look? And the person replied that there are no crochet police. There are only inconsiderate crocheters. So if you find yourself being told by someone else that your quilt has a problem, just let it go in one ear and out the other. They are not the quilting police. Unless, like I said, unless you have gone ahead and submitted something for a competition. Then that's something you did to yourself. So yes, then there are quilting police. All right, here is a sail. I'm going to set that one over here. Let's get the mast out of the way. And sail number 2. Flag with those pieces so I don't get it lost. And the ship. Okay, life preserver. The life preserver I'm going to set over here with the waves because it's supposed to be white. Anchor. And all of our little tails. All right, let's see. Alright, I am going to save these little bits because when it comes to applique, sometimes you just need a small little piece. And again, I don't like to have to buy this stuff any more than I need to because I find it to be not cheap. Alrighty, everything is cut into pieces. Excellent. So now we need to get it attached to the appropriate fabric. I'm going to start with the white. Where did I put that white? There it is. I know I pulled out that white going, hey, I can use this. Okay. So here's the white. Forgot, I was going to read the directions for you. Steam, iron, or pre-wash to remove sizing and other treatments from fabric for best performance. Always set your iron temperature for the type of fabric you will use. Sewing is not required to finish the edges, but if desired, steam a seam 2 will not gum up your needle. Alright, that's not what I wanted to know. Does it tell me? Trace, peel and stick, cut out, remove paper, press. Okay. I've always steamed it onto the fabric. Never read the directions either. That's part of the problem. Okay, so I'm going to take my waves. And the side you drew on is not the side you want to peel off. You want to go to the other side and peel off. And you want to make sure that when you do that, the sticky side, you're only peeling off the paper. Alright, so there's all that. And remember I mentioned that it had a bubble in it. It's driving me crazy. Alright, so we do that. And I'm going to put you right there. So just so you know, one of these fun little facts. One time I did this, and I was using my Frixon pens, which is great because they can go away, but I wasn't thinking, I didn't need it to go away. That was what was next to me was my Frixon pen. And when I went to go put it on like I'm doing now on the fabric, the lines I had drawn all went away because I used heat. So that's why I used a pencil and I didn't use my Frixon pen, because if I had used the Frixon pen, my lines would have all gone away from this piece of fabric, or from the back of the steam-a-seam. So don't use Frixons when you're doing appliques. Doesn't work. Okay, here's that fabric. Still not 100% certain why it was out, but it was. Alright, and make sure it's all attached nicely here. Alright. There's that. Pull my garbage can over here so we have it a little more accessible. All right, the ship. So in this case, I want to make sure that the direction of the fabric is what I want it to be, because I want the lines on the ship to go sideways. Ships are made that way. All right, so the back of the fabric. Making sure the lines are going the direction I want them to. Ship. Peel. Now I'm going to try and use the least amount of this fabric as I can because it is good for borders on quilts. So I want to make sure that I don't take up too much of this fabric, but it's absolutely perfect for a ship, so I had to use it. All right, now let's cut around. No, I should not be cutting backwards. It is bad for my wrist. Do not do what I do. Do what I say. All right. Leaving as much of the fabric as I can, still in good shape. Excellent. I don't know why it's not on a cardstock or a comic book card. That's what I use. I bought, they sell them in huge stacks. I think I've got one pack I haven't even opened yet. But they're for comic books, to keep comic books stiff. And they're the perfect size for double folded fabric. So that way everything on my shelves can sit upright. All right. The ship has been sealed. All right, there we go. We're still going to be able to peel that off. Oh yes, that's still good. That goes there. All right, mast. Here, I just need a little bit of the fabric. I'm not even going to take the whole thing over to the ironing board. I'm just going to cut off a little piece here. There we go. Let's set this off to the side. Now, please tell me I cut a big enough piece. Oh, I did. Good. All right. You know what? I'm going to stop ironing these on since I don't have to. It's something I've always done, but since it tells me I don't have to, I'm going to stop and just sticker. All right. So now I need the gold fabric. Now, and make sure you're putting your appliques on the back side of the fabric. I think I mentioned that with the ship, but I'm not positive. So I'm going to look at this fabric, and I want as much of the gold as I can to be in the anchor. Come on. And that's kind of in the middle here. The edges aren't getting it, so let's see here. How's that? There we go. I like the placement of that. All right. So that's going to be by itself. Now the flags. All right. Do I want two of them to be the same or not? Let's put this back away. All right. Let's put that back away. It's out of my way. Let's see. Flag. Bottom edge. Slip the bottom edge of the mast under the ship. Doesn't say. That doesn't make any difference. All right. So I am going to make my sails out of the light and the dark orange stripes, and I'm going to have the stripes going at an angle. I don't want them to be up or down or side to side. I actually want the stripes to go at an angle. Come on. There we go. Okay. So the sail goes like this, and I want the stripes to go at an angle. To make sure that we get them at an angle. There we go. That's not going to go right and left. That's angle. Sail number 2 goes that way. So again, make sure we've got things going at an angle. And that goes there. And then the little flag stripes going the right way. Okay, there we go. So now I have everything pieced for the top. I'm going to go ahead and cut the life preserver off because the waves go on the bottom. I'm going to set that off to the side to be dealt with the fishies. And now we're going to trim all of this down. Okay, there's that. So now we got to cut the center of the life preserver out. I fold it over a little bit and clip. Now I have a hole that I can fit my scissors in. But those scissors are way too big. I'm going to pull out my little scissors. And just clip around the middle of the life preserver. Okay, life preserver. Garbage. Coffee. Don't know why I'm so thirsty today. Okay. Set that back off to the side. All right, let's see here now. Does it say anything specific as far as the order? No. Other than slipping the bottom of the mast under the center of the ship, fuse shapes in place, and machine blanket stitch around the edges of the appliques using matching thread. All right, so you can use matching thread or you can use invisible thread. If you're going to use invisible thread, that's perfectly fine. You know, wonderful idea. Make sure that when you do it, you don't put it on your bobbin. You use a different thread on your bobbin. I have successfully used invisible thread on my bobbin before I found out that you weren't supposed to. I did it and went, oh, it worked. Why can't I do it? And you can. It's a waste of thread, first of all, because that thread is more expensive than regular thread, and you're not going to see the back of the quilt anyway, or the back of the applique anyway. And it's just, it did take me time. There were points where I was having trouble and it was being challenging, and I wouldn't have had that because invisible thread is made of plastic basically, so it stretches a lot and it causes lots of problems for you as you're going. But I haven't decided what kind of thread or what color thread I'm going to be using on all this yet anyway, so we're going to have to see how that goes. Alright, we've got that and that. That and that. that out of the way. Come on. I hate it once they're cut to the right size. They always give me difficulties. There we go. Found a corner. And let's put the ship in the middle. All right. And yeah. So they can still be moved until you iron them in place. So this can still be adjusted as we go. The life's preserver goes over here. Come on. There we go. There we go. Mast. No, I didn't need the anchor yet. The anchor goes on the other side part. All right. Anyway. Mast. All right. I don't have turn on fan on my checklist for getting ready for live videos, so give me just a moment because I forgot to turn on the fan. All right, fan's on. When we started this adventure this morning, it was 74 degrees in here, which is normal. It is now 82 degrees in here. That's what happens when you turn on all the lights and the iron and everything else. It gets warm. And I need to add turn on fan to my checklist when I'm setting up for this. Okay. That goes in the garbage. Come on. There we go. Now the directions say tuck the mast into the boat. So I'm going to take the boat up a little bit. I'm going to stick the mast. There we go. Now you don't want to get too close to the edge because keep in mind we're going to be putting a 1/4 inch seam on here, so you need to be careful when you're doing that. Okay, flag. Actually, let's do this one, the sail one first. Alright, and this one goes on this side. Trim around this little baby corner. You know what? I'm going to pull out my little scissors for this one. There we go. And then it's going to go like that. Okay. Go like this. There we go. Actually, that's a little high. I need to go a little bit lower because I still have that other little flag to go on there. Let's go like that. And as I'm using these charm packs, I just dawned on me. I also got these charm packs from an Annie's kit. They have different kits you can join, kit clubs you can join, and I happen to be a member of two of them I just completed. I haven't finished the project, but the kits are finished coming to me. And then I do a hook and needle. Sometimes I crochet, sometimes I knit it, and then a caring kit project where they send once a month they send me a pattern to crochet, and then after I get it done, I send it to a charity. They tell you which charity, so I've been able to discover a lot of different charities. But I also belong to the Charm Pack Club, so once a month they send me 2 charm packs. And this was a couple months ago, and I still haven't used this charm pack at all. This is the only piece from this charm pack I've used. This charm pack I've used. I made something with it that I can't remember off the top of my head, but did make something using this charm pack. Oh, Disappearing 9-patch. So I've used some of them. I made a Disappearing 9-patch table runner. No, I didn't. I didn't do that. Didn't use these. The double disappearing, yes. Pillow covers. I made pillow covers. Well, a pillow cover, one I'm still working on. And I just didn't like the way the stripes looked, so I didn't use these striped pieces in the Disappearing 9-patch, double Disappearing 9-patch. So I had them left, and I felt they were perfect for these flags. Alright, and that's all I'm supposed to assemble right now. According to the directions, this is where I stop for the time being, and these we're going to use in a minute. Alright, so now if I'm happy with where everything is, I will iron them on and seal them in so that they don't move. So I'm going to step back by you guys, grab my cup of coffee, step back by the camera here. I'm going to look and I'm going to go, yeah, that looks okay. And honestly, the fabric almost looks like it might have stars in it. I guess, like I said, they're bubbles. It looks like water fabric to me. But I didn't have a dark and a light. I didn't have anything that was sky appropriate. So that was the closest I got. Ah, coffee's good. Okay, let's see. So now we're going to need to seal it all on. Whatever I'm trying to say. So I'm going to come over here to the iron. And got wrinkles over there. Let's get rid of those wrinkles over there. That's probably way too much best press, but all right, there we go. I feel better about that now. too much wrinkles. A lot of wrinkles on that side too. I'm going to move the life preserver just a bit so that it looks more like it can be reached. Okay. Seal, steam, press, whatever term you want to use. Okay. Get these all on there. Now, I always do it a second time from the back. Again, never having read the directions, was just sort of using it from what people had told me, and been using it for years, just never bothered to read the directions. And we're sure that we've got everything nice and sealed in there. Okay. So now we need to, we don't need to. Keep in mind, when I read it, it does say that you don't have to do anything on the directions for the Steam a Seam 2. But the directions in the book say to do a blanket stitch around our pieces. So we are now going to set up the machine and do some blanket stitching. And so my machine is currently set up for regular standard piecing. So I have a 1/4 inch piecing foot, which has a hole only in the middle so that it only does a straight stitch. And because we're going to be doing the blanket stitch, we need to have more space. So we need to switch to the foot that came with my machine, which is a standard foot. So I'm going to move this foot out of the way. The other thing I have is for my machine, I have the ability to change out these base plates. And this base plate has a hole right in the middle. Let me see, can you see that? Probably not. So the only hole, it does not have a zigzag stitch, or cannot do a zigzag stitch. This plate down here is open and has room for going back and forth. This plate only has a hole right in the middle. We can't do that because we want to do blanket stitch. So we need to put that regular plate on there. Why do I switch to this one when I'm piecing? Well, it's because sometimes when you're piecing, because you're doing a 1/4 inch stitch, it's really tiny. You're doing a really small seam. Sometimes the fabric can get pushed down into the zigzag area when there's lots of space like this. It doesn't happen very often, but since my machine is so easy to change out, I happen to have the straight stitch plate, and I do quite a bit of piecing, so it makes sense to have it. All right, so there's that. Thread. We're going to need thread. I am going to be using cotton thread. I'm using cotton fabric. I'm using cotton batting. So everything I'm using is made of cotton. Let's see here. Woo! Knocked some thread over. Let's see. That's polyester. That's not going to work. I'm thinking on this, if I have brown, I should use brown. And I do have some brown thread. I have quite a bit of brown thread. Let's see. Which one do I like better? Come on, thread. Stay there. There's those. Is that the same as that one? 28.50. Yes, that's the same as that one. That's a dark brown. Okay. All right. So on this part of the activity, I'm going to use brown. I'm going to need a bobbin. Okay. So now I have thread falling everywhere. All right, now let's look. I have these 3 browns. And That actually almost looks more like a gray, but it's not really. That brown goes really well with the ship. And this one goes nicely with the mast. I'm going to go with the medium. I'm going to go with this one. Set those two off to the side. All right. So now we need to wind a bobbin. Let's get rid of that one and get a little one. There we go. Thread. Excellent. There we go. Make sure the bobbin's right side up. There we go. My bobbins happen to have a side to them on this machine. My brother machine right over here does not have that issue, but this particular brand of machine does. All right. Up. And get rid of that on the screen. And put my bobbin in. Now, this table is phenomenal. I love it to death, but it gets in my way when I put a bobbin in. Every time. You have to push it down in order to get the bobbin cover on. Just a pain that way. I left that sitting open. That's bad. All right, now I need to thread the machine. And I just have a universal 80 needle in. I don't have anything special in it. When we quilt, we will quilt with a quilting needle. But for this activity, oops, just standard universal 80 is fine. Come on, there we go. This thing's being challenging. Yes, my machine does have an automatic needle threader on it. The catch is the nice people at the cleaning place that clean it once a year, every time they fix the needle threader and all is right with the world for a couple of months, and then I break it again. Because I'm just that way. So, yeah, because there's a little piece of metal that comes through the eye of the needle, and I end up bending it at some point or another, and it just doesn't work. So, no big deal. I have a bunch of these little needle gadgets that I use, and that's fine. All right, now I am going to do the life preserver first, because the life preserver and the ship are going to share, and I'd rather have the overlap of the ship so that the ship, actually no, now that I say that, the ship is behind the life preserver, so I want to do the ship first. Duh. All right. I'm going to start at the edge. Come on, thread. Go back there. There you go. Out of my way. And then we're going to make sure my fabric's folded up. Stitch. I need to pick a stitch. I'm going to do a standard blanket stitch. And this one has a longer, this one here is tinier and closer together. And I don't know if I need that. I'm thinking that one should be fine. Huh. Why is it asking for the H? I wonder why. Anyway, but these, my machine happens to have a bunch of stitches. Even my brother has a buttload of stitches. But this is in the applique stitches section. F. And there's only one applique page, so that's what we're at. And there are a bunch of different options here that you can do. I'm just trying to decide between that one. I think I'm going to go with that one. I might switch to that one around like the smaller stuff. But for the ship, I'm going to go with this one. Alright. Foot pedal. So you want your straight stitches to be as close to the edge of the applique item as possible. I got to the tip, and now I'm going to go around. I like it when my machine stops in a needle down position, and this does not default that way, so I always, and it doesn't stay, so I have to set it every time I turn my machine on, and I forgot to do that, or I hadn't used the machine yet, so I hadn't done that yet today. So that's why I pressed up there. That's what I was doing up there. Oh, it's just on the edge. So I did put that life preserver up just a bit too far. Yep, just sorry. My watch wants me to move. Not now. There we go. Silly watch. Usually it's great that it tells me that, but today I don't need it. I'm doing something else. Okay, let's see. Yep, too far. Yeah, that didn't turn out too well. Okay, so up here around the tip, let me see how you can barely see it, but it'll drive me crazy. I just missed it on the edge, and there are a couple of points where I was not quite on the fabric, but really close, so not too bad. So now the life preserver, and I am going to drop down to the tighter, smaller stitches. And I am going to seal my start and end by pressing fix. That's going to stitch do is start the stitch by sealing it in. If you don't have that option on your machine, just stitch forward a little bit and stitch back a little bit. But I have that ability on my machine to just tell it to seal. Where'd my coffee go? There's my coffee. Can't forget my coffee. It is freezing cold coffee now. Not freezing cold, but it's cold coffee, no longer hot coffee. May have to switch to water. So this particular blanket stitch only has one stitch between it. The one that I did on here, it had 2 stitches between it, so it's spaced out more, and that's why I switched to this one for the more detailed work. Looks like my coffee's getting in the way. There we go. Alright, so we're coming to the end, so I'm going to hit my stop, which is going to do a stitch at the end so that it seals the end. Again, if you don't have that ability, forward, backward sewing will accomplish the same task. Okay, so now we have the outside of our life preserver done. Now we're going to do the inside of our life preserver. And let's see, we're going to go this way. This is even tighter. got the center done. Excellent. Mast. Now I'm going to go back to the longer stitch for the mast. And I'm thinking I'll go back to the shorter ones when I get to the flags, sails. All right, to make sure that I start this in the right spot, I'm going to twist my turn my needle down slightly. Not all the way through, but just so it's touching, so I know barely touching, so I know exactly where it's going to start. Put my presser foot down so it doesn't move, and now I know it's going to start where I want it to. Right at the tip, so I'm going to turn, and it should go sideways, and now we're going to go forward and sideways, do the blanket, and forward, sideways, and up. All right, so now we're at the edge again. Uh-oh, looks like we didn't start out quite right, so we're going to have to go back and do that again. Wasn't paying attention, and it didn't start sewing right away. Alright, so now we have to do this again. Let's try this again. Start it right in the corner. Alright, there we go. Now we've got that all done. Now, like I said, I'm going to switch back to the smaller one. What does that do? That's thick. I don't want that. What does that do? I don't need that either. Let's just go with that one. That one's fine. Okay. I'm going to start sort of in the middle of the flag, or the sail, just because I don't want to have to worry about the edge. And FYI, I don't know, you probably can't see it through in the camera, there is a bunch of fuzz on my needle. So even though the Steam-A-Seam made the comment that it doesn't have a problem gumming up your needle, that's not necessarily totally true, because I can see that there's fuzz on here, which means that there is gum from the Steam-A-Seam on there. So this needle will be used for this project, but that's as far as this needle's going. I probably, when I sew the, well, no, I'm going to have to, because I've got the machine already set up, but yeah, this is a one-time use only, and depending on how bad it gets when we do the fish, we may have to do it, we may have to switch needles mid-project even. Alright, so this is going to be tight. These are little rounded corners. As careful as I can not to mess up my rounding. Over, up. We're going to go forward. Now, where do we want to go forward at? Yep, a little bit there, I guess. Yep, and then over. And turn and go back. And down. Alright, there we go. And now we're off to the races again. Oops, we got on the edge there a little bit. All right, come on. There we go. Go through this little curve thing again. So there we go, and over. And now we're going to go this way. Go back, and down, and forward. There we go. Okay. Okay, almost 1 o'clock. Oops. Let's see here. Let's do this flag next. Flag. Sail. These are sails. This is a flag. Got to get that right. Okay. Let's get you lined up and get started. Let's see. Go down. There we go. Go around a little bit now. Over and back and down and there. All right, now we're on the straight side. there. Okay, down, over, back, yep, there we go, and down and over. Excellent, look at us go. Okay. Oops, that's completely off the fabric. All right, let's see how can we get that back. There we go, and all right, so way off the fabric there. So definite problem, but hey, if it was perfect, it wouldn't be my quilt. All right, so fix. And all right, so now this goes up at a little tip. So are we at the tip yet? We are not. All right, one more. And now we're at the tip. Now I want to go forward one. There we go. And now sideways one. There we go. And we're back. Going down to a tip. Almost there. Alright, so we've got the flag done. And now, just because I can, I am going to go over here, and I am going to look for, that's not what I want. Don't I have letters somewhere? That's that. I can do that. There's my stitches. I thought I had the ability. I know I have the ability. I just can't remember how to do it. That's where I do it. Duh. Alright, I want to do an outline alphabet. It's thinking. It's thinking. It's thinking hard. There we go. And I want the letter C. It's going to go that way. And I'm going to put it as best as I can in the middle. Can I make it bigger? I can make it longer. There we go. I can't make it any wider though. So I'm going to leave it as it is. And I am just going to, nope, go back one. Fix. I forgot it does all of that automatically. All right, so just the one letter. That's all we're going to do. And go. Okay, so I put the letter C in my flag. That's all I did, just a C. Okay, let's switch back over to the overhead camera. Or overview camera, whatever you want to call it. The camera, over here. That doesn't look at the sewing machine, that looks at me. There we go. Alright. Yeah, I think we're done with the coffee for the day. Now we pull out our little scissors. We trim off all of these annoying little threads that we just put on here. And you want to trim them from the back too, not just the front, because they might get in our way later on. And should I have been trimming as I was going? Yes. Technically, I should have been trimming as I was going, because a bunch of these stitches in the back have gotten caught up in other seams. I was just being lazy and not doing them as I went. And I will probably do it the exact same way with the fish, so be prepared. Okay, let's look here. My watch just beeped, which means it's been 3 hours, I think, at this point. Yes, it has. It's been 3 hours. All right. And I have my ship. I'm going to step back so I can see it from back. Now, on the camera, I don't think you can see the lines nearly as well as you can in person. But the sails both have the things going at an angle. The boat has it going this way. As I'm looking at it, I could have probably done a USS whatever lettering in the life preserver. That might be a nice little touch. I'm not going to mess with it now, but that's something to consider. So if you're looking at this and going, hey, what else can I do to personalize it? Can't see the sea at all up in the flag from here, but having something written on the life preserver might be a fun little thing. And you can either hand embroider or just use the stitches on your sewing machine. My machine does also do embroidery, so I could technically do that also, but yeah. So, what am I going to do now? I am going to sew the sky to the ocean now. I am not going to switch thread. I am going to leave my thread just as it is, and I am going to try and sew 1/4 of an inch using that. That should be interesting. I haven't sewn 1/4 of an inch, not using my 1/4 inch piecing foot in years. So let's go back to the machine and see how this comes out. All right. I have to switch back to a regular stitch. All right, so standard woven fabric, regular woven fabric, straight stitch goes there. Okay, so from there, where's my doohickey? There's my doohickey. Okay, I am going to move my needle all the way to the right, because I want to use this thing. And in order to use that thing, I need to know where 1/4 of an inch is, and I need a tape measure. There's a tape measure. Now that's too big. I don't need a tape measure. I need a little ruler. There we go. Okay. So 1/4 of an inch. Let's get this lined up. Where's my needle? There's my needle. Went too far down. There we go. Now, just so you know, there is something you can purchase to do this, to line up your 1/4 of an inch. I don't have it, obviously, and this is not going to work because that foot is not going to go down. Dang. Let's see, where's the 1/4 of an inch? There's the 1/4 of an inch. Oh, there's the 1/4 of an inch. That's part of my problem. I'm using 1/8 of an inch, not 1/4 of an inch. So there's a doohickey you can buy that's made of plastic that has a hole, so your needle goes right in, so you can line this up and get it all straight and ready for 1/4 of an inch. I don't happen to have that doohickey because I usually just use my 1/4 inch piecing foot. I have this thing. Somebody gave it to me somewhere along the lines. And I've just never used it because I usually use my straight stitch foot, and this gets in the way because it has to be over too far. I'm able to move my needle over to my right here, and that allows me to use this doohickey. All right, now let's get a piece of fabric, starter fabric. keep your fabric straight. Okay, let's look. How did I do? Ah! Nope, I don't have it where you can see it. There we go. All right, so from there to the edge of the fabric, yellow line, that's almost perfect. Wow, I did it! It's been such a long time, and I still did it. I am so happy. Happy, 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 happy. All right, I'm going to assume I'm going to press to the ocean fabric. It does not say which direction to press. I am going to press to the water fabric. The reason I'm doing that is if I were pressed to the sky fabric, it's already got some applique stuff on it, so it'd be thick. So I'm going to press to the water fabric. Okay. Let's get you pressed. It's not hot yet. Forgot to trim off the tail. I trimmed off my starter fabric, forgot to trim off the tail of the fabric, of the thread. All right, let's try this again. There we go. All right, now open it. The longer the seam, the more challenging it is to keep it pressed, the press going the correct way. Just an FYI. Oh, and it just started pouring outside. I knew it was going to rain. We do have a tropical storm somewhere just off the coast, so I knew we were going to get rain, but it just started with no warning. The wasp out front on the roof is having problems. I'm on the second floor. There's a wasp trying to get back into his home. I'm thinking that's where he's going anyway, or she, or it, or whatever it is. But I will have to mention that there appears to be a wasp's nest somewhere there. I mean, it's not like I hang out on the roof all that often, so I guess I don't care that much, but I don't like wasps hanging around my house. All right, let's see here. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So, do you need one of these things on your wall? Yes. Do you need to go buy a special one called design wall? No. Go to the dollar store, pick yourself up a tablecloth that has a flannel or fleece or flannel, whatever this stuff is on the back, and tack it up to your wall. I very rarely use these blue lines, so that you can see them on the camera, but I very rarely use them. It's not something I use very often. So don't worry about not having the lines. Just save yourself the money. I happen to be working at a sewing machine place, and I got a lot of my stuff at a massive discount, which is why I have a lot of the tools I have. It is not something you have to have, though. It is, well, let me rephrase that. You don't have to have one specific for doing this, for a specific design wall. All you need is a tablecloth that's got the stuff on the back. Works just fine. I've also seen people put fleece up on their wall and just tack up a piece of fleece. If you can get one wide enough, that's fine. Or if you're making small stuff, either way. But I prefer to have it hanging on the wall. If you don't, you can always lay it out in front of you. That's a perfectly acceptable option. I just like to be able to step back and look at it, so that's why I love my design wall. So I use it. I don't use the things the way they're supposed to, but it's literally thumbtacked to the wall. So that's all it is. All right, I'm going to step back. Let's look over here. I'm going to grab water this time. I think I'm done with the coffee. Okay, step back here. I like my ship. It's sailing nicely. All right, switch my spots. Water comes up here. I don't really need you. I'm not going to be rotary cutting anything. So a couple things I did differently on this seam than I normally would have. If I was piecing a lot of pieces together, I would have used a 60 weight cotton fabric thread instead of the standard 50 weight. I have a special thread just for piecing. I would have dropped my stitch length down. I left my stitch length standard here. There's only one seam in this whole quilt. Everything else is applique. So I wasn't going to reset up my machine just for one seam. And it works. We got the 1/4 of an inch. I'm happy. So I'm not going to worry about it. But now I need to follow the rules. Arrange the 3 waves across the B rectangle at different heights. Okay. So now we need our waves. It's on the white fabric. I'm going to cut them out. And remember, one of them we reversed so that one goes one way and the other 2 go the other way. Let's go this way. they show one wave. Going this way over here. Do I have to put the waves exactly where they show me? No. Am I going to? Probably. There we go. All right. Let's see. We got to have one wave over here. Let's put it down a little bit lower. That's wave one. Okay. Wave number 2. I'm going to curve that a little bit, just to drive myself crazy when I do the blanket stitch later on. Just looked really sharp. I didn't like it. All right. Come on. There we go. I'm going to make it look like that's where the wave from the boat. There we go. And wave number 3. Okay, that one's supposed to be sharp. Nah, too sharp. There we go. Okay, take off the backing. And now this one, kind of in the middle that way. Okay, so we have waves. I'm gonna move you that way a little bit. And I think, oh, okay. A little bit further over. Remember, don't forget we've got our 1/4 inch seams, but we do want to try and take up as much of the space as we can, so it's not all just blue. Alright, so they're at different heights. They're kind of going in different directions. There, I kind of like that better. All right, the anchor. There's lots of detail on this one. Corners and stuff. Now they've got the tips of these all rounded. I don't think I'm going to mess with all that. And just as fast as it started raining, it stopped raining. Alright, what is my watch trying to tell me now? Come on. Nothing important. Little scissors are much better for this job. Alright, let's see here. Get that tip trimmed off. There we go. Alright, turn that around. I have a kitty cat coming back. She was gone for a while. Apparently she came back to get attention. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Wow, there's a lot of little corners here. I don't want to accidentally cut it all off. Hey, baby girl. Hey, baby girl. You doing okay? You're a good girl. Now I got kitty fur all over me. Let's see. All right, almost there. Oh, hey, baby. Hey, baby. Okay, I put it down. There you go. All right. You want to come say hi to the camera? No? Okay. You can go sit in the window. Go sit in the window. No, you don't want to do that either. Do not eat my cord. Does anybody else have problems with that? Cats eating cords? Whoa, hey there. All right. Anchor. Let's look. I think I like it. I think I like it. Yep, I like it. I do. I like it. Let's see here. Okay, we're going to throw this away. Now we need to make fishies and fishy tails. So find the polka dot fabric first. Sort this out. So polka dots, those are flowers. Those are flowers. Polka dots, polka dots, polka dots, polka dots. Stars. All right. Let's see. How many do I have? How many fabrics do I have with polka dots on them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Doesn't that just figure? Oh, I lied. I do have 8. All right. So let's see. I have an upside down kitty cat. Here, let me rub your belly. There's a baby. There's a baby. All right. So I can make one fish and one tail out of each of these fabrics, and then just not match them up so that I don't have any two fabrics exactly the same sitting there. That'll work. So let's turn all of these fabrics over. Stick a fish on each fabric and stick a tail on each fabric and then cut. No, that's not right. I almost did it the wrong way. Remember, tear the fabric that's not written on. or separate the fabric that's not written on. There you go. Now I am going to be a little bit cautious because I'm thinking I might be able to get a couple these turned into 5-inch charm squares if I lay these out correctly. Yes, I will be able to do that. So I will turn these 8-inch squares into 5-inch squares and put them with my charm pack stash for another purpose, another time. Oh, does it matter what number fish I have? No, I only numbered them, so I made sure that I made 8 of them when I was doing the outlining. Nope, that almost went off the wrong way. Come on, we can do this. There we go. Still have a cat down there. Afraid I'm going to step on her. Now, try to do it again. This particular piece of steam-a-seam does not want to come apart correctly. There we go. Keeps wanting to separate at the on the wrong piece. Okay, so we have 8 fish, and now we need 8 tails. Bye, Kitty Cat! Now I don't have to worry about stepping on her. Nope, she came back. Hey, big girl. You came back. Here, come here. Okay. Say hi to the camera. Say hi to the camera. You don't want to say hi? You don't want to say hi? Okay. You ready to get back down now? Okay, so I can make fishies? There we go. Good girl. She's not going anywhere yet, so she just wanted a little bit of attention. I guess she just wanted, yep, she still wants attention. Alright, tail. Sorry, kitty fur up my nose. Tail. Yep, that's gonna go the wrong way. Gotta do it the right way. There we go. And a tail. Alright. Trim them up. Let's get this piece off of here. I don't need that. There we go. All right. I have a ton of fabric still left over for another project. So now we're going to trim them off. Okay, fish tail. So as I was cutting, I could feel this fabric was folded because I didn't press these squares before I used them. And I'm just trying to push out that fold from the tail. Tragedy will not strike if the tail has a little fold in it, but it's one of those things that would drive me crazy every time I looked at it, so. I haven't figured out where to store these when they're not being used. The pillow is currently in my husband's office downstairs, and the cats very much have enjoyed it. I've only made July's thus far, so this is my second, making August as my second pillow cover, but I'm just not certain where to keep them when they're not being used, because there's going to be 12 of them in the end. and I'm not certain. Maybe I will go out and look and see if anybody has a box pattern or a storage container pattern. Because I do have some indoor-outdoor fabric that I'm not using. I have to make something with it for my sister, but I've got a lot of it, so I might just, maybe I'll do that. And that way I can custom size it to be whatever size I need to fit all 12 of them folded up. And then just set it in his office, and that way I can switch them out as the year progresses. Or knowing me, I'll find fabric that I like and decide that this one isn't good enough and I'll want to make another new one next July. Sorry, in my world right now it is July. I don't know when you're watching this. Oh, and if you're enjoying it, click like. And if you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. In that way, oh, and click the reminder button. That way, when I start making August or September's, this is August, when I make September's in August, you'll get notified that I will be doing that. I tend to go live Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. That didn't happen this week because we had, here in the United States, we had a holiday this weekend. And so we celebrated, well, technically we celebrated Independence Day on Independence Day, which was Sunday. But since my husband didn't work yesterday, we celebrated by sitting around and watching television all day and not doing a dang thing. It was very nice. But so I didn't do a live video on Monday this week because of that. Now I am going to do a video now tomorrow, which is Wednesday in my world, to make up for the fact that I didn't do one on Monday. Because I thought that this was going to take me 3 parts to get done. But, I mean, technically, I try and not run more than 4 hours. So I try and go from, in my world, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's getting to be that time for me to stop. And I may go ahead and stop at 2 o'clock in my world, so at the 4-hour mark. It may be a decent point for stopping. I don't know. We're going to have to see where I'm at. If I'm just getting done with the fish of cutting them, I may just stop there and then place them all tomorrow. Because I try really hard not to do anything on these projects without you around. I don't want to be touching it or messing with it. I say that, and I have done things where I've rearranged how the pieces look, because I come in here periodically throughout the day and just look at what I'm doing and determine if it needs to be twisted or turned or the colors are right. But if you're sewing along with me, I don't want to be doing stuff like attaching the appliques while you're not around, because then you won't be able to catch up, and that's just not right. And remember, these are all projects I have never done before. That's what the live videos are for. The live videos are things I've never done before. I did start recording a project that I've done before, and this would be the second time I'd be trying it. So that's going to be an actual video, and I'm going to try and see if I can do some editing and do that portion of it, which I haven't done yet. I just do the live because I like the fact that it's real life. And you never know what could happen. You know, like cats wandering in and out or pouring down rain. Alright. We're getting there. What time are we at? Quarter till. 15 more minutes. Let's see what we can pull off in 15 minutes. I hear thunder. I think I'm going to get more rain. Well, like I said, there is a tropical storm sitting off the coast, so it only makes sense that I get some rain. Alright. Yeah, we're going to have some time to place them. See a little bit of where we might want to put them. Alright. Garbage can. There we go. So, we've got some fish popping up, and the fish goes, okay, so this is the top of the fish. This is the tail. Let's see if we can get these fishies up here, and then I'll move them around while you're gone. Then tomorrow we can see where they end up. Up that way. Can't forget about the 1/4 of an inch. That's important. let's see here. Where does it have? They have one going between. That's not a bad idea. All right. Let's do. They have one going in. That's not a bad idea. Fishies jumping together. All right, so I need that goes with that, that goes with that, that goes with that. I gotta make sure I got them all mixed up. Otherwise, we'll have matching fishies. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. Ah, I see. Okay. So now I'm looking at these fishies, and I'm wondering why they had 4 of the bodies reversed. So the tail, this piece goes down, this piece goes up. So that's what the reverse did. All it did was reverse the direction of the little tip on the fishies. I think it was a waste of time. I don't think I needed to reverse any of them. Now, something I am noticing that's annoying me is the fact that this is red and purple and that's red and purple and they're both little dots and those are both big dots. So I'm going to be switching those. And I also don't want them right next to each other like that. I like that a little bit better. Not certain I like the fact that the red dots and the red dots are right next to each other. Now the green dots are right next to each other, so I'm not crazy about that. But so this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the night. I am going to be looking at my fishies and trying to see if I like them the way they are. Let's step back. So we're going to look at it for a minute. I like the fact that the fishies are all made of dots. That's kind of cool. I see there's a fishy with 2 big dots. I don't like that. But there's more little dot fabric, so there's quite a few of the fishies that have little dots. Now in the book, it also says that we are going to need embroidery floss. 2 strands of black embroidery floss. I happen to have that because I used to cross stitch, and so I have a whole container of cross stitch stuff over there that I haven't used in years. So I can pull it out and I'll have a needle for that and all that good stuff. And we're also going to be sewing a thread, or sewing with thread, a line from the ship down to the anchor. Actually, it's from the top of the ship down to the anchor. So this fishy will be in the way. And maybe I'll move this fishy over here so that we have room to get the string down to the anchor. It doesn't show doing anything on the anchor. So we're going to do that. And as far as the quilting goes, if you've watched me in the past, you'll know that I am not competent, in my opinion, to do free motion quilting. So I will not be doing free motion quilting. And I also always start and end on one side of the quilt or the other. So I'm thinking that I might start and do like a wavy line around, and then kind of quilt around the fish. So I'm going to make sure I can do that. The batting I use, which I'm using Warm and Natural, just regular off-white Warm and Natural. Yeah, I have enough. I don't have to break open a new package yet. I've still got enough. That's good. So I'm just going to be using the Warm and Natural, and it needs to, the minimum distance for quilting lines is 10 inches. So we're good because it's a 36 by 16 inch quilt when we're done with it. So 16 inches, if I put 2 stitches in here, 2 seams in here, we'll be fine. That's all I'm going to really need. I'm not going to need to put a ton of quilting on this. 2 quilting pieces will be fine. Because I don't think I want to quilt and stitch around all the fishes and stuff like that. But we'll decide all of that on our next visit. It may still take us 3. I don't think it will, but it may take 3 parts to get this complete done. I'm thinking we should be able to get it done in 2 parts. So tomorrow we will, or in the next part, we will go ahead and do all the applique around the fish, which will probably take us about an hour, hour and a half to get all of the applique done there, to get all the stitching done around the fish. And then we will switch over to our walking foot, and we will get the sandwich made and get this quilted. So we might be able to get it all done tomorrow, especially if I'm only going to do 2 things of quilting. Get this knocked out in 2 parts. That would be really nice, be able to get this done in 2 parts. But so we will see you all on the next episode. Remember, if you're on Facebook, like me, working on trying to figure out how those star things work on Facebook. So once we get that figured out, we'll go there. But go ahead and follow me on Facebook, and then on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe and click the reminders. That way you'll know when I'm going to be on. I do have next week's plan all set out. We're going to make a purse next week. So it's another pattern from Annie's catalog, but I'm going to go ahead and make a purse out of that. That'll be fun and different, out of strip. So see y'all next time. I'm Carol the Crafty Grandma. Bye.